we at the JTA are so proud of this facility. We opened it up back in May of 2020. And interestingly enough, when I first arrived, it's been 11 years I've been here in Jacksonville. When I first arrived, there were some plans sitting on the shelf for a regional transportation center. And I just told some of our guests, it actually rivaled the jail in terms of design. It, it really did not have that inspirational feel that we thought a regional transportation center for Northeast Florida, our Grand Central Station, so to speak. It didn't have that feel or that thought process. It was functional, but it didn't create that vision and feeling of innovation, creativity, and I guess I would say generational value that we thought a facility of this nature in Jacksonville deserved to have. And so with that, I was fortunate I had a board of directors that didn't look at the dollars we spent for the early plans, but basically said, let's start from scratch. And let's build a facility that clearly could be a gem for this community in Northeast Florida. And here we are, the JRTC at La Villa. History of La Villa, this was a thriving African-American community that actually supported a great deal of the railroad activity that was occurring right across the street, and unfortunately came across hard times when I-95 was constructed and actually bisected that community. And you may have heard those stories around the country in terms of the interstate and what it did to African-American and minority communities. So that is why it's the JRTC at La Villa. And if you have time, we'd love to take you through the building and show you how we pay homage to that history in this building with a series of murals and actual artwork that actually talks about what was at one point the Harlem of the South. That spirit of building the JRTC and kind of tearing up the old design and building for the future is kind of the culture here at the JTA. We look over the horizon. We've been doing it for decades in terms of the JTA, and it started out as Expressway Authority, but now the JTA, building a lot of the iconic bridges and roadways that have made our community flourish. But we haven't stopped. We are continuing to look over the horizon and look at how technology is going to change how we do business in terms of transportation and moving people. I'd like to say that we're living in one of the most transformative times in terms of transportation. With the advent of autonomous vehicles, the world is getting ready to significantly change where we live, where we work, how we travel to our jobs, the size of our homes, where our homes are going to be located. And as the JTA, when we were struggling with what to do with the obsolete Skyway, an easy, probably not so sophisticated solution would have been tear it down, right? That was some of the perspective. When I arrived 10 years ago, Nat, how soon can you tear the Skyway down? Well, if you look around this facility at JRTC, you can see cranes, you can see new apartment buildings, over here new townhomes that are going in. Why? Because Jacksonville is now becoming a hub of activity, and the immigration into Jacksonville is soaring. We felt that tearing down the Skyway and not having a solution to replace it was foolhardy. And out of, I guess, a process, Dr. Kapner, he was involved. Matt Chang, you were involved. I was sitting in a classroom with the two of them, struggling with what to do with the Skyway. And we started talking and hearing more about autonomous vehicles and that technology. So how do you marry up the old 30-year Skyway system with these new autonomous vehicle technologies and go beyond the 2.5-mile system to now a 10-mile system that connects all of our communities? The better we move, the greater we become as a community. And our job is to knit this community closer together using transportation, and hence the U2C project that was built out of that. U2C project, phase 1, 60% design. We're about ready to break ground and begin construction. We have a scheduled delivery date of 2025 for what's called revenue service. That is Bay Street, 3-mile, 15-vehicle system that actually will be, and we also are very competitive here at the JTA. It is our plan to be the first major, large-scale, autonomous vehicle public transportation system. 15 vehicles, 3-mile route on Bay Street, phase 1. Phase 2, much bigger lift. The conversion of this aerial structure to a roadway at elevation, taking out the monorail beam, elevated roadway, which was the original design of the Skyway, and using those same autonomous vehicles, albeit we have to buy a few more, to actually operate on the aerial structure, and then through a series of spirals, elevators, or ramps taking those vehicles down the street level and expanding it into a 10-mile network. It is bold, it's ambitious, it's aggressive. But that's the team that has been developed here at the JTA. One of our, I guess, credos is we'd rather be ashes than dust. And the idea is if we're going to be here working every day passionately with our dreams about connectivity and transportation, let's be bold about it. We are not your grandmother's or grandfather's bus company. We build roads, we do public transportation, but we are doing it with a lens towards the horizon and the future. And so I just want to thank all of the staff that's worked on it, the team mates, many of you in this room who have been part of this journey in terms of the JTA and delivering this project. Finally, I gotta tip my hat to Tim Papandreou. I've been following your career for years. Tim and I worked at the San Francisco MTA some years ago, and we launched innovation there, SF Park. Remember that? SF Park was the first real-time parking application to direct you to parking spaces. In San Francisco, one of the challenges, limited parking. We found that 30% of the traffic that we were dealing with in San Francisco, downtown San Francisco, was people scouting out for a parking spot right on the street. When right maybe a couple of feet away from them was a parking space in a large municipal garage that was empty. And so the idea with SF Park was to really help the customer, help the driver get to a parking spot as soon as possible, eliminating some of the congestion on the roadway, and then maximize the utilization of all of the municipal parking that we had in that city. I was so proud of that launch, and then we see multiple cities that are duplicating that at this point. But again, it's that bold, courageous DNA that was part of our team back then and part of our team today here in Jacksonville. So again, welcome to the entrepreneurs. You're in the right place. To the venture capitalists, you're in the right place. It's not just about the money, it's about having the community that can embrace these innovations, that thinks outside of the box, that is aggressive and is looking towards the future. And so we welcome you here, and in partnership with Jack's Chamber, pulling this facility together was also part of our vision, that the JRTC was not just a transfer facility for public transit users, it was actually going to become a destination in and of itself. And that's why we did the partnership with Jack's Chamber to actually create this open innovation center here, 3,900 square feet. And we couldn't be more proud than to partner with Jack's Chamber to make this happen. And JVC. Thank you.